Ed, are you done?
No, dude, get your head up. I can't see the light on. Come on.
Come on, man. I want to eat
Dude,
this
just
donut.
hold on a second. I'm trying to get the lighting on you. Move your head up. Come on, move your head up.
I'm going to take a bite of this donut.
No, not while I'm painting, dude. Not while I'm painting. Wait, let me just get this lighting right.
Did you get my full body? Is it in there?
You need to move your legs a little. I keep telling you that. It's not looking natural. Okay, there you
I
go.
want a donut, Ed.
Well, put the donut down. You can eat it when we're finished.
You told me to hold the donut.
Dude, but you keep moving. It's hard to paint this.
So
Okay,
put the
stand
donut down.
still.
Can I take a bite?
Okay, take a bite of the donut.
Mmm.
You feel better now?
So much better.
Are you feel better
How's
now?
the painting going?
It's going. It's going.
Does it look like me?
Yeah, it looks a lot like you. It really does. You're gonna love this. You're really gonna love it.
I don't see you painting though.
I'm painting. Come on, bring your head up again. There you go.
Jeez, how far do you want my head?
Where it's looking at the light where I can see you. There you go. There you go. Oh, perfect. Don't you moved again, dude? Come on, quit.
I want the donut.
Today is our Veterans Day episode, and we are extremely proud to have you two gentlemen with us here on Connected by Water. I want to give you a quick kind of round of applause or just an applause. I'm not sure, but I want to thank you both for the service to our great country, to our great nation. I want to thank you guys for everything that you do for FFO and the veterans. We are extremely honored to have you guys on today. I can't say that enough. We're here with Tony Peralta and Ed Baumeister, and you guys both served in the Army.
Baumeister.
Baumeister. I knew I was going to get that wrong.
Yeah, everybody always does.
Burgermeister, Meisterberger. I won't say that anymore.
It's okay.
Baumeister. You gentlemen both served in the Army.
Yes.
You gentlemen both do work with the FFO and the veterans now.
Correct.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your involvement with the FFO, how that kind of all got started, and what that means to you. We just had a conversation offline about the passion that you have talking to new veterans that come into the organization and how sometimes that can get pretty emotional.
Yes.
I want to kind of strike at the core of that today because I really do believe in this organization. I believe in Sarah and Vinny and everything that they do for the guys and the girls. And I really want to kind of strike at the core of you guys are pretty crucial in this whole operation. So take me to how you guys first kind of got started with this.
Okay. Ed, do you want to go first?
Sure. I was on another fishing trip, another event, and then two outreach officers were there. They told me about FFO, and I was really interested. I wrote Sarah, and next thing I knew, I was on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was like medicine. It gets us out of our comfort zone of being in a house and cooked up because really, for me speaking, I get into depression. I don't want to leave the house. And just the organization has really pulled me out of that and just got me in the outdoors with the fresh air and fishing and the camaraderie with other vets. It's been like medicine. That's the best way I can explain it.
Like medicine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And Vinny and Sarah have been most wonderful people. Everybody's been the most wonderful people. So, after that event, I started seeing whatever I could help with because also helping really gives me purpose in life and doesn't make me feel useless. I mean, I've always been the guy that always do things on myself. I've been the hands-on guy. I can't do that stuff anymore because of my disabilities. And really, this is great to help out. And
so it's a good outlet for you now.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
That's outstanding. We talk about that on the show a lot. From time to time, we'll bring on organizations. This is very much a community involvement show. And I was having a conversation with Paul Robertson from the FFMD, the Fishing for Muscular Dystrophy, and we were discussing the intrinsic value of giving versus receiving. And my argument, not really an argument, but my stance on it is people don't understand that when you give, that there's more of a reward, like emotionally, than when you receive. Like if you won the lottery, you won $1 million, it's kind of fleeting. but when you give and you really truly help somebody, that's kind of forever. That doesn't go away.
Great feeling, yes.
Yeah, and I don't think enough people really have that perspective. So this is truly an organization that gives.
100%.
Yeah, and you guys are truly people that do give. So how did you first get involved?
Gentleman, another veteran invited me. His name was Henry Brown. I say was because he passed away about 2 years ago. I was in the same boat. I was home, depressed in the garage, thinking that life sucked. And
Yeah.
and I came out to this organization. At first, I was very timid, I used a camera to hide behind everything, so I'd just be in the background taking pictures. I asked everybody if they were comfortable with me taking pictures, and they let me.
Yeah.
And Sarah and Vinny were amazing because they left me alone. I'm the weird guy in the corner over there that doesn't want to talk to anybody.
It's like John. John's the same way. Then we call him John in the corner.
Yeah.
Right. So
I'm hiding away from the cameras right now.
Exactly. So they just let me come out of my shell. And when I was ready, they said, "Hey, we're here for you." And they asked me to be an outreach officer, and I've been paying it forward ever since. We were talking about water, connected by water earlier. I really believe that the water has healing properties.
1,000%.
You go out there
absolutely.
and all your worries go away, all your problems go away, and you just see the smile. You'll see it in the veterans as well. You'll see them they'll have those eyes and those apprehensive, like, hey, I don't know these people. I don't like anybody here. I don't even want to be here. And after our first night, our first event, they're like, wow, they got a little bit more smiles. Then you go out fishing and we, come back and you see them on the dock. They're just smiling. And that's the reward right there.
That's awesome.
So
that really is the reward, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because it's all about the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't think people do that enough either, where you stop life for a second. Like, there's no planning here. Let's revel in this moment right here. Let's enjoy this moment right here, because this is life, right? And not what's going to happen in a year, because people always have a tendency to look forward and not live in the present enough.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of value to that.
People need to understand tomorrow's the future.
Yeah.
It's today that you have to live in. You can't live in the past. That's something that a lot of veterans like us do, that we just kind of live in the past. That I wish I could have turned left instead of right, that mentality.
Exactly.
I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. Those things really,
It'll
for
eat you
us,
up.
it'll eat you up. And if you let it, it'll destroy you, you know. And events like these are the ones that take us away from it. You know, and it's just beautiful. And I just want to help Vinny and Sarah just give back. I mean, they give so much. And
They really do.
Oh my,
I mean,
God.
people say that about it, but they really do.
And they need so much help.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for. That's why I signed up. So
I think it's going to be really cool. Here we are. We're recording this on a Tuesday. We have our events this week. We have the dinner tonight. We have the fishing event tomorrow. But this isn't going to really air. We're everyone's seeing this right now on Veterans Day. This conversation happened last week. So I'm just going to put it to people like that. And we're doing that by design because we want to let this go on Veterans Day. So we are going to show a bunch of the photos and stuff that you're taking during the course of the week.
So we do look at the future, Dan.
We do. Busted. But, I just want, as we talk through this, we're going to be talking about some of the events this week that may have already happened on the show. So I just wanted to make that clear to everybody. But speaking about the events, how did you guys, first become these outreach? What does an outreach officer do? I want to really kind of understand the structure, or let people understand the structure of this organization and what makes it unique.
So, there's no template. Like you said, you're just going to kind of ad-lib and do your show. That's how an outreach officer is. It's what do you bring to the table? What can you do? And do it. It's up to you. Nobody's pressured. Nobody's told what to do or how to do it. Just what can you bring to the table? Bring it to the table. Obviously, if we picked you as an outreach officer, it's because we saw something in you. And, and that's what I do. Like me, I do everything. I whatever I can.
Okay.
I'll fundraise. I do a lot of fundraising in the background. The photography, the photo editing. I spend hours with a lot of pictures. I'll take 400 or 500 pictures at each event. And out of those 400 or 500, I'll use 100, 200 maybe, so that keeps me occupied. It keeps me busy. It gives me purpose, and it makes me very happy, so that's what an outreach officer should be doing. Just putting out the word, getting
whatever
veterans.
they can.
Yes. I have networks. I have networks in the Tampa VA. I have networks in internet websites on Facebook, and I just put the word out. I'll put flyers out. I got this motto, and Sarah could tell you that I'd rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah.
And
I say that in my marriage a lot.
Yeah. So I just go and do it, and then once it's done and it's fulfilled and I think it's ready for Sarah to see it, I'll be like, hey, look what I brought you. And she'll either say yes or no.
Right.
It's not going to hurt my feelings. I could care. I'm just doing all the work. And if it's something that they want to do and it's good for the organization, good for veterans, then they do it, which they do all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool. It's really cool.
They take me as the type of, I mean, I know them, but I could probably speak certainly about this. They take me as the type of people that they're going to understand that your guys' hearts are in the right place and their perspective is in the right place. So I don't think she's ever going to, there's not much forgiveness probably to be had, I'm sure. And I'm sure everything you guys present and bring to the table is very appreciated, on any level. So an outreach officer, your task sometimes can be difficult, I believe, and this is just in my previous conversations with Sarah and Vinny, with trying to help these guys come to an event sometimes.
That's very difficult.
Yeah.
I joke around. It's really hard to give veterans free stuff. I say that all the time. It's super hard to give veterans free stuff, man.
Why do you think that is?
Well, like I said, they're not trusting, they've built these walls. I was one of the same guys. I built a wall around me. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be around people. I want to stay away from everything that maybe triggered me or, in the past, which is stupid because you're doing that in the garage, triggering yourself all the time. So, then you realize that's when a guy calls you and says, hey, you want to go fishing? And then you go and you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's life out there, and I want to be part of it. And, that's what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And also in some of our training, as being military, we're taught to give, not receive. Mm-hmm. I mean, we signed up for our country, and we're just taught to give, not to receive. So that's why it kind of makes it hard on them too.
That's really interesting. I never thought of it that way.
That
makes a lot of sense, though.
It's not something that we do. We don't like asking for help. We like to go and do.
Makes a lot of sense.
So.
Yeah, I never really thought of it that way, because, it's tough for a civilian to put themselves in the mindset of anything that you guys have seen, experienced, done. And, all people can do really is just, for the most part, I'm sure you hear this a lot, thank you for your service, right? And people, I think, generally, on the whole, appreciate and, understand the value of what they did based upon their reflection of their own life, like they didn't have to. But being there and doing it's a different story. So
exactly
when you say that about your trained to rather to give than receive, that by you saying that gives me a little bit of a better perspective, I think, maybe on trying to understand a little bit, because I think that's really what a lot of it comes down to, is there's seemingly this space between veterans and civilians of understanding. And I believe that, organizations like this kind of narrow that space, because you're bringing together people in an event like, going hunting or fishing with other captains who may not have served, but you're allowing people to get involved and bringing a togetherness and shortening that space. And I think that's really, really important, not only to the civilians' understanding of what you've gone through, which I think is incredibly important, but also to the healing process of, what the veterans need to get back and assimilate, and or really just kind of, we talked a little bit earlier about the accomplishment of overcoming some of the things that you have to go through, and the importance of getting to that accomplishment, and what a great achievement that has to be. So I understand Freedom Fighter Outdoors to be one of those grassroots organizations that really, really helps in that situation.
All they do, 100%.
Yeah.
From the time you get there to the time you leave, it's just, you feel so important. Mm-hmm. You don't feel left out. Everybody's friendly. like I said, you're always at the beginning. You're kind of like we were so nervous for this event right here.
Yeah.
So it's
feeling better now, right?
Yeah,
For the 5 minutes went away, right?
Yeah. So it's just like that. You know, they're just nervous. They don't know what to expect. They've been exploited so much, you know, by other organizations that they think it's a photo op time, or you know, because that's really or it's a political thing or whatever. It's This organization is nothing like that.
Oh, it's so genuine.
I've been coming.
That's what I noticed about it right off the bat. That's why I'm involved.
You can feel it. It's just so genuine.
Yeah. It's all 100% for the veterans. It's not. We're not taking anything. We're giving back. You know, and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and that's why we're involved too. You know, first of all, you know, Sarah and Vinny have become friends through this. You know, and you know, rightfully so. But you know, we don't like giving to organizations that are just so huge and have such a huge corporate structure that we don't feel that the actual efforts are getting to the people that are supposed to be benefiting from it.
It feels more personal, like giving that
we can make a difference. Like tonight, I'm excited about tonight, and I'm excited about tomorrow because, you know, we've been helping FFO for about a year now, and this is really the first time I'm excited about right now. This is really the first time that I'm becoming interactive with the actual veterans, which is really important for me. You know, and I'm also sensitive to what you said too about exploiting, and I don't want us to ever be seen as that. I really just want to, you know, the whole reason for bringing you on is to really raise awareness, you know, because we believe in the organization.
Oh yeah,
you know, we're not trying to make ourselves look better or anything like that. You know, and if anyone ever views it like that, I'll shoot that idea down right off the bat. So, and I just want to make it clear that is like we feel like we're making a difference.
Oh yeah,
and we talked about the value of giving. Right, and how that, you know, there's that bigger value there. So, I mean, we do have reasons and do have, you know, that we do it here and why we're in full support of you guys. So, the events are great, right?
Oh, they're excellent.
So I've never been to one. So, I've never been to an event.
So every
this is
event,
going to be my first event.
I've been doing this for 5 years with FFO, probably a little bit longer. I can't remember. But every time I go to an event, I say they can't top it. This was the best. I say that at the end of every event.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it just, every single event I go to, I say the same thing. I'm like, well, they can't top this one. And they can't top this one. It just keeps on getting better.
They keep doing it.
And better and better. And I'm like, I'm just shocked. It's amazing. It's 100% for the veterans, man.
And plus, you also, on these events, you make new friends with fellow vets. Yes. It's a brotherhood, you know, it's a really solid brotherhood. And it's really neat to meet people across different ages and stuff. It's really fascinating. And I made some pretty good friends that I keep in touch with.
That's great.
I mean, Tony, some other people in this organization. So that's why I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So what happens? Tell some people here what happens at an event, like with the fishing. Like what makes this fishing event tomorrow unique over other events?
I think it's the vessels that they put you in. It'll just blow your mind.
Yeah.
You know, these guys come in thinking that they're going to go on a little dinghy or something. They don't know what to expect.
Right.
You know, they
like
go on a
bass
little
fishing. Or something.
They think it's a little boat that they're going on, and you show up and you tell them, hey man, you know that whole crew and boat is for you for half a day, and their jaws just drop like what?
Yeah.
And some of these guys haven't even seen salt water before, so it's really...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
See, these
and they never caught fish like this, so it's really amazing.
Yeah.
We fly them in from all over the country, man. So it's not...
So for the first time, is this like the first time they're really like fishing out in the ocean for a lot of these guys?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Sometimes,
That's outstanding.
So
you're bringing an experience to these guys that they normally never would have had.
Some, yeah.
I would put it as I used to watch the Fishing Channel or whatever the shows are, and just... You know, and next thing you know, you're in it. You're like in the show that you were just watching a week ago. You know, it's like, whoa, this is awesome. My dreams just came true, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's pretty cool.
Did you guys grow up fishing or outdoorsmen? Or?
No, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Man.
You're from Brooklyn?
So there's not a lot of fishing.
Yeah. Well, you could troll down the Hudson, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's the East River on that side, isn't it?
Yeah. It was green when I was there, no.
Myself, I grew up in Miami.
So you grew up down here? Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Car Gables, actually, and my dad took me fishing when I was a little kid underneath the bridges, on the catwalks of bridges, and I've been doing it since then, and my dad has passed away, but it's always in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff matters. I mean, fishing has that power to bring people together.
Yep.
Like no other. I mean, you know, it's really the best form of brotherhood I think you can kind of latch onto. You have that experience, and you guys, you know, have a good catch, and we talk about it all the time. I'm going to bring it up again, John. I think we've come to the conclusion, though, right?
What?
It's the primal thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think we always have that question of why is it that, when you go fishing with someone and you guys have a great day on the boat, you remember that forever, but you also remember that person forever, and you guys bond that day,
true.
right?
That's
So
true.
rather, it's very much different. Like if you're going to go out with someone, or if you met someone at a wedding, that's a little bit more fleeting than when you just spend a day all out on the water. And I always had that question, like, but why is that? And someone, I think, was it George Gotts was on the show, and he said, maybe there's a primal thing to it, like a hunting thing to it,
Kind of like the fire. You know how you just stare at fire because we invented fire, so we're like, wow, look.
This is
Look
like a
what we
DNA
did.
connection
Yeah.
to fishing and hunting and and fire. Now we've added fire to the mix. I love it. So
It's the thrill of the hunt.
thrill of the hunt.
Yeah, the thrill of the hunt.
When
You're
you can
chasing-
bond and
yeah,
you share
yeah.
that with someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So some of my best friends, and I always joked about it. We beat the crap out of each other. We fought before we became friends.
Yeah,
So we were enemies before we were friends. And then
Yep.
that friendship is forever. It's a brotherhood, and it's the same with fishing.
yeah,
You just went after a beautiful, or when you bring in that catch, and you're like, wow, look at the animal that I just brought in. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's an accomplishment. It really is.
yeah, for sure. And I think there's something to be said for that bond and that brotherhood kind of refusing again, because obviously when you serve in the military with someone, or even when you don't serve with them, you guys have just served together, there's a fraternal thing to that as well. But if you can bring that, this is why I love the whole idea of hunting and fishing for veterans. From that whole perspective that we just mentioned with the whole primal thing and the bonding thing, you can now bring those guys together in a more healthier bond. Maybe healthier is not the right word, but if you're bringing them in that bonding experience of fishing, it's a good way to rekindle that nature with each other, and
Right,
without
right.
having to go to the extreme about it.
Right.
So I guess that's it. If I'm speaking out of turn, then I apologize.
No,
but
that makes sense.
that's just my theory on it. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So when did you serve?
I went in right after high school in 1981,
1981.
and I got messed up like a couple years later, and I got a full medical retirement in 1984.
Wow.
I wasn't in that long, but that's what was in the cards for me. Originally, I wanted to do my retirement, so
Yeah. And it only takes a moment to sacrifice for
Yes,
the country.
it does, it does.
Length, I don't think, is as much as experience. So, yeah, for sure. And
Sacrifice is sacrifice, man.
yeah.
So.
And we spoke, you served just after 9/11?
Oh, no, before 9/11.
Before 9/11, okay.
So I went in at 90.
Sorry, I misheard that.
No, 1990 to 2000.
1990 to 2000.
I got out a year before. Actually, yeah, to the date, September 2000.
Gotcha.
I was medically retired.
Okay.
My injuries overtook my life, man, for a long time.
Yep.
I got into deep depression, a lot of pain. I still continue with pain, but I've learned to just ignore it, or at least try to ignore it.
Yeah, as much as you can, right?
And these programs like this are the ones that brought me out of my shell and brought me back
exactly,
to kind of
yeah.
life. Or not, I was just an empty shell that was angry all the time. Didn't want to be social, didn't want to talk to anybody. Just leave me alone. And this is what brought me out, really.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure, and it's going to continue to be fun. I mean, you talked about purpose, just there, and I think that's really an important word. And you brought it up earlier in the show too. Yeah. Bringing purpose, to anybody's life is important. But again, we talked about that space, and bringing purpose to that space between is really important. Tell me a little bit more about what you feel that FFO, does for the veterans. Tell me a little bit more about the organization, maybe things that I might have missed.
Well, it's all free. It's all inclusive to the veterans. They don't pay a dime. So, wherever they are, if they're in Alaska, we've brought people in from Alaska, anywhere. It doesn't matter. If you want to go fishing, give us a call.
Right.
Or sign up. Actually, they have the capability to go and sign up now on events on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So just go sign up and we'll open your world up. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be awesome. So
Are there other ways that outreach officers kind of can get to the veterans to try to get them involved? Because you said before that maybe, they're not going to call. Maybe it's hard for them to kind of cross that bridge.
so a lot of them will sign up, and
Okay.
then at the last minute they'll quit. They're like, hey, I don't want to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they'll have that thing like, well, I was exploited at that last place I went to. It was a whatever, and like, no, I don't want to go. So we prepare for that, but if they do come in, they want to come back and do it over and over again. They want to become, outreach officers. They want to volunteer. A lot of them, that's all they tell us. Hey, how can I volunteer?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do? So what's happening now, it's like a virus. It's, it's going up the East Coast. We're up in Pennsylvania. We're up in New York. We're here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We might be in Georgia soon,
Oh, wow.
Texas too.
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas.
Wow.
So
you guys have outreach officers in those states? Is that how that works?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So they get their communities involved. That's key right there. The community has to get involved. I mean, we can't do it with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Sarah needs all the help that she can get. I mean,
For sure.
I was a lead, program lead for a veterans group for about 2 years, and I had a mental breakdown. I was doing it all by myself. A huge organization, but nobody's helping me.
With FFO?
No, it was a different organization.
Okay.
So when I saw Sarah doing what she's doing all by herself, I'm like, oh my God, she can.
Yeah, the empathy.
Yeah, I'm like, this is, by experience, I'm like, this is impossible. She's doing an amazing job, So I'm like, how can I help? How can I get this, burden off your back, and and you can focus on what's going on,
Yeah, even the littlest stuff you can help her. I can go pick up a couple guys at the airport. She's a worry about getting a limo and all that for us. So I said, I'll pick them up. It's on the way, so it's no big deal. But little things like that
Well, the little
go
things,
a huge way.
taking care of the little things. I mean, sometimes that bucket filled with little things turns into one big thing, and it's, if you get someone to just take care of one thing, that's an important hour that you just solve for that person, but also just the mental aspect of, okay, that I don't have to worry about that because the stuff can kind of consume you when, so that's great that she has that kind of assistance, locally. But, so the FFO, so I didn't know that you have outreach officers in different states.
Yes.
And that's expanding,
Yes.
apparently.
Yes.
That's really good. So with some of the events that we do now, we have this one's a saltwater South Florida event.
Yes.
Are there other events being planned in different states?
Yes, we just had a dove. Was it a dove? Dove hunt up in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, right?
We just had that. There's a gentleman, Jose. Do you know his last name?
No, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Jose, if you're watching. I can't pronounce his name if I can remember. So
It's fine.
Jose takes out veterans twice a month. He takes them out to Lake Okeechobee, and he takes them out on a bass boat.
Oh, it's the best. Jose, I think we mentioned him one time. Does he work at Marriott?
Starts with
Yes.
Yeah,
He
he's
works
the
at
one that
Marriott.
works at Marriott.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
He's doing amazing work.
Yeah, he's
man.
a fantastic guy. He really
Yeah,
helped
okay.
out a lot.
He put his logo on his boat, and and he loves the organization. He's like, hey, I want to take out veterans, and we're helping him with that. He's taken me out a couple of times. He's taken me out.
Oh, so you guys have gone bass fishing with him?
Yeah.
How is he?
It's
Pretty good
beautiful.
angler?
It's awesome. No, it's awesome. Great job. He's doing a great job.
So you went to Lake Okeechobee and fished with him? Yeah. How'd you guys do?
It was okay. I mean, it was rough.
Oh, was it rough? Yeah,
it was-
Lake Oak can get pretty rough.
yeah.
Yeah.
I caught some really big mudfish. I don't know what the name was, but they were huge. We were having a blast with that.
Like snakeheads kind of thing, maybe?
Oh, they look like a snake, but they were huge. They were,
Yeah.
Bowfin, maybe.
Bowfin?
Yeah, could have
Yeah.
been a bowfin, yeah.
So so it wasn't the right species. Who cares? You
Yeah,
had a
you're out
blast,
there, you're getting tight.
It's all, it's all
Right.
about having fun.
Yep.
It's different, that's for sure. I'm more of a saltwater person, and I found it to be quite different. It was fun, actually.
Yeah.
I surprised myself. It was fun.
You get out fishing much around here?
I try to, the weather permits, but it seems
Right.
always when my son's off from school on the weekends, that's when the weather gets bad. It just seems like it works out that way.
I think there's an internet meme going around about
Yeah.
that, right? Like it's like while I'm at work, it's like flat calm, and then
Yeah.
saying, when I have a day off, they show like this rough conditions.
Yeah. Yep. That's
I've
how
got a
it is.
theory on that one. I think it's all the traffic, all the mufflers going off.
Yeah.
And they're not
You
around.
might be right. The vibration of the road, it's like pushing the waves up.
Because it was like that in New York, man. It was like, it was beautiful during the week. As soon as Monday came, it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Friday came, it's like gray, cold,
Yeah.
snow, rain, whatever, sleet.
Yeah.
It was crazy every weekend. So
You're from Brooklyn, so what brought you down to Florida?
the military. I've been all over the country.
Okay.
Through the military, so I don't know. I've been cross country about 4 times.
Okay.
The South was the big one that I've been all over the South. It was like they wanted me to learn a lot about the South or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Culture shock for me.
Yeah, right?
So the heat brought me to Florida. I moved in Detroit for temporarily, and it was just way too cold for my body.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
I have a lot of issues.
No.
Well, it's the medical issues. You feel them like 100 times worse.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
with the
too.
cold? Yeah.
So, and I came down here to Florida, and it was like the only thing the winter comes, I remember that I'm really, really messed up.
Yeah.
And then the precipitation, when it goes up and down, then I realized, I'm like the Weather Channel. I told my wife, I'm the Weather Channel. If I'm knocked out in bed and I have no reason why, there's something bad
don't make
coming.
any plans.
Yeah, there's something bad coming. So,
Wow, yeah, I'm a South Florida native, right?
Me too.
So my wife is from New Jersey. Now, I'm the youngest of 6, right? And I'm the only one born in South Florida. The rest of my family's all from Jersey City, right? And so my wife is from New Jersey. Everyone's like, oh, of course you married a Jersey girl kind of thing. We go up there all the time. But when we go up there and it's really cold, I will look at her point blank and say, how do people live like this?
I
And
see that
this is
before.
only New Jersey, right? It's like not even like it's like really like Minnesota cold or Chicago cold or anything like that.
It's nice for a few days for
Yeah.
vacation,
It's
but
nice
to
to
live
visit.
in that, it's just
Especially in New Jersey though, it gets so damp and cold, and then I'm sure Brooklyn kind of got the same way. But I'm like, why would anyone want to live like this? But this come from a South Florida guy. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, I'm a South Florida guy
Yeah.
too. So I lived up in Georgia for a job for 13 years.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get back because, the change of seasons is good for the first couple of years. And then you got to rake the weeds and then the snow and the ice and people don't know how to drive it. I was glad to come back. Plus, you're so landlocked there. I'm more like
that's true.
I miss
Georgia's
the
pretty
ocean.
big.
I
and
need
all
the
that.
coastline too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. If I don't have a coastline, I can't tell you which way is north.
I think I was
That's
born.
always my problem. Like I remember I went to art school in Sarasota, to Ringling, and that messed with me because that's technically the West Coast. So I always gauged north, south, east, and west
Oh,
by
I'm the
where the
same
beach
way.
was, right? So I would always be like, yeah, it's up north, and then people would just look at me like, what are you talking about? That's south. I'm like, oh yeah, right. I'm not on the East Coast anymore. I keep forgetting.
That's
I'm
how
like,
it is when I go out to like California and stuff. My directions are totally off. You put me
Yeah.
on the East Coast, no problem. But over there, I'm totally lost.
Yeah, a good friend of mine was stationed in the Coast Guard for 4 years in Alameda, right? And he worked on the Yerba Buena Island right there in the middle of the Bay Bridge. And I would go out there for every year I'd visit him, right? Him and his wife, because on Lake Tahoe, there's a Coast Guard base.
right.
And then we would be able to stay in the barracks with him for $15 a night. And you can stay on Lake Tahoe for $15 a night. You take advantage of that as much as you can. So I'd fly out there. But yeah, when I was in San Francisco, I always had the toughest time, understanding with the Golden Gate Bridge, like which way was up, which way was north, which way was south.
Yeah,
And, it was
exactly.
a really weird thing. It takes a little while to get used to all that kind of directional stuff. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be landlocked.
No,
That's for
I
sure.
wasn't. I didn't like it at all.
I certainly can't deal with the cold. I mean, here I am talking to a couple of veterans, and I'm like, bitching about the cold, but it gets to my bones, man. I can't take it. I don't know.
yeah.
It does
I
get
know
I'm
the
a warm
feeling.
weather guy.
I know the feeling.
It hurts.
Yeah, it was more pain there than I
Yeah.
am here. I mean, it's bad enough to deal with pain every day, and put cold on top of it makes it worse.
Yeah, for sure. I can only imagine. Yeah. Wow.
And then you wave at your neighbor in the mornings because they're running to the car, and you sometimes you don't see her for 6 months. It's like you're hibernating or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's
weird.
that's true. That's probably why people up in like Wisconsin and stuff are so nice. Because they don't get to see each other for half the year.
Wow, people look.
Yeah, hey. I remember one time I went. All right, so I went right after I graduated high school. I went on a fishing trip with my buddy Brian Flynn, and his grandparents had a house in this little town called Bagley, Wisconsin, which is in the backwaters of the Mississippi. So it's on the southwest corner of the state. And Prairie du Chien is one of the closer towns that people might know. But to give you a little bit of a logistical aspect, there's Madison is right there in the beginning, in the middle, in the bottom of the state, and it's kind of just due west of that. Really cool town. Culture shock for me, because even though I grew up in South Florida, it is kind of like a little city down here. But there's really, we're 18 years old. We're drinking at the bars. They don't care. They make their own laws up there. Yeah, they really do. They're like, oh, whatever, oh, you're so-and-so's grandson, here, have a beer, and Pabst Blue Ribbon or whatever, they kind of like that, they old style and like the old kinds of beers that they drink up there, old Milwaukee. And yeah, so, I remember when we first kind of got into town, there was a car coming from, you see it on the horizon, this little blip. And he tells me, he goes, you're going to have to wave when we drive past them. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm from South Florida. This is like with South New York, kind of with the attitude a lot of people have around here sometimes. And so I'm like, what do you mean we have to wave? So you just watch. They're both going to be waving when we pass by them. So, okay. So sure enough, there was waving. And sure enough, we get there and their hands are already up by the time we, and he goes, for the next 2 weeks, every time we drive by a car, I guarantee you everyone's going to wave at you. And that was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I said, this is great, to the point where, I think people would get mad at you if your hand wasn't up. You like kind of have to do it. But I thought that was a kind of unique
Cool.
thing, up in Wisconsin in the.
So do they wave because they don't know you from the area?
No, I think
Or
that
they're
everyone.
just friendly?
I think it's just a friendly thing to
it's
do.
friendly.
Yeah, it was. I've never met or I've never met friendlier people in my lifetime than I have in the southwest corner of Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure. The people in the Midwest and everything in general, I just have a very good disposition. But that was just, we went to like picnics on farms and, and things like that. And, everyone was just like super nice and wanted to find out all about the boys that came up here from South Florida because, it was like another planet for them kind of, idea. But I don't know. Great experience.
Well, I'm going back to FFO now.
Yeah.
You just reminded me that we don't just do fishing. We started out, Vinny started us out at deep sea fishing and then did some inshore fishing. Mm-hmm. We do turkey hunts. We do hog hunts, deer hunts.
Right.
Pheasant now. Anything else that we might be getting into? I don't want to spill any beans, but maybe into the
breaking news here.
Competition shooting type of thing, maybe.
Very cool.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, So it's not just deep sea fishing anymore. It's everything in the outdoors. Freedom Fighter Outdoors. That's what we want to do, and we're doing it.
That's outstanding. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was getting at before with like if there are other events planned in different states. Does most of those Florida-based events?
No.
Or are those kind of all over?
All over. The
even
hog golfing. Even we're doing golfing here on Friday.
Oh, there's a golf event.
Yeah, at Fort Pierce. So,
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. I didn't know about the golf event. So much going on.
Sarah wants to also incorporate in some of these outings to do stuff like art and do but building rods. I build rods. So I'm going to teach a class one of these days to teach vets how to build them. And
you're a rod builder?
Yes, I am.
Oh, very cool.
I had to reinvent myself. I couldn't do anything, and so I started building rods. And
you have that stuff up on social media?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your? Where can people find that?
Oh,
I'll flash it up on the bottom of the screen.
It's Ed and Sons Fishing.
Okay.
We're on Facebook. We have a website, and I think my wife's working on a Instagram account too.
Okay.
She does all that stuff. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm not the best at social media, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even I got a podcast and all this stuff like that. I just do it because I love doing the show and I love talking to people. As far as like the whole promotion of social media and stuff, like I need someone to do that for me. I can't, I'll do it, but it could be done better for sure. I just don't have the patience for it sometimes because that's another job, putting all that kind of stuff up.
Yes, it is. It does require a lot of work.
Yeah.
I call them hobbies. I fly fish. I tie flies.
Really?
I taught how to.
He
tie
ties really
flies.
nice flies
Yeah,
too.
I taught veterans that were really severe.
See, now we're
TBI,
getting to find out some stuff about you guys. You're a fly tire?
Yeah, I taught at the VA in the Tampa side. I would teach over at the Bass Pro Shop I think it was once a month. I can't remember.
I still don't know how they tie their hands together and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's
The
they're
VA
real small.
yeah.
You know how you could see them that small.
what do you use, like a magnifying glass? You
Sometimes you have to, yeah. So most of the veterans are really severe. They're TBI or PTSD or just lost limbs, and we had a whole team in there teaching them how to tie those flies, and I picked it up really quick. Now I just do it as a hobby, And recently, a veteran saw me on Facebook, and they're like, "Wow, I need some peacock bass ones. Can you make them?" And I hand delivered them to her this weekend. I made 10 for her, and we're dying to try them out. We haven't tried them out yet, but they look really good.
Wow. Look at that, John. I'm gonna have to commission you for some snook flies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
I'll score you away.
Yeah, definitly. John and I are supposed to walk the beach, and we always talk about this. And take long walks on the beach with John in the corner over there. But John, I'm your biggest fan here, John. He's like a
I
snook
can see
master.
that.
He's the snook master.
He's the only one that calls me a snook master.
Yeah.
The biggest snook I've caught is like this big. So
Oh, yeah.
you guys are gonna have to show me.
Oh,
what
yeah.
the real deal
Yeah.
is.
Then we
I
should
love
go
my
fishing. We
snook
should do that. We'll
I
have-
use baits that big.
Yeah, that's probably what I caught was the bait.
Yeah. So when did you start doing rods?
Well, I took a class. I really enjoyed it, and it's been about 5 years now I've been doing it.
Very cool.
I used to work in the exciting world of broadcasting. I used to be a broadcast engineer, and I just couldn't do that type of work anymore.
Yeah.
So it was like, now what? Now what do I do? And I just saw a class. I took it I'm just building left and right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, I do a lot for
You having fun with it?
charities. Yeah, I love doing it.
Yeah,
It's
sounds.
a-
I've
it's a
always
blast.
wanted to. I've never, like we were talking to her when the show started about the swordfish bill that sits here. A
Yes.
lot of people don't realize this was a gift from a friend when I first opened the business, and with the hope that one day I would just paint it. I never have time to do anything for myself.
Oh, I know. That's
Yeah,
I got like 5 rods sitting there for myself that I
yeah,
can't
it's
get
like
to.
they say the carpenters. If you go to the carpenter's house, you're never going to find any
Yeah.
new furniture.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true.
Yeah.
So busy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so that's why I was like, you're enjoying it and everything like that. But and I was hesitant to say, I'm like, I always wanted to try that, but then I stopped because I'm like, I know myself too well at this point. I'm like, I'm never gonna try it just because I never have time, to branch off. Right now, I'm so like locked and loaded into like what I'm doing here.
If you ever want to learn, I'd be willing to
Yeah,
help
no,
you
I
out.
think one day I might have the same thing with tying flies. No, because I just recently started fly fishing. I mean, I say recently, I mean within like the past 3 years.
Okay.
I've done it before a long time ago, but a couple of times in like a school of mahi, so that's really kind of like cheating. It's not really like really like
Yeah.
fly fishing. It's like
Yeah,
they're
they
out
eat
there. They're
anything.
gonna eat whatever you throw at them. So it's
Red
just
hook.
practice for
30 minutes.
You want to practice on reeling in with a fly. You can go ahead and do it that way.
I started doing something to give back, and I give it to veterans. I give it to donors. I'll give you guys too. I started doing minnows and lefty deceivers, and they're patriotic ones.
Oh,
Very
nice.
cool.
So they'll be red, white, and blue, and
Nice.
I'll bring them in.
You have pictures of those too?
Yeah.
Let's flash those up on the screen. Yeah, John will put those up. Yeah, for sure.
I
can
have
get
some in
you
the car. I'll
pictures,
give you
too.
one. So.
Yeah,
If you
we'll
want some
definitely,
pictures of the
absolutely,
rods, I can get.
1000%.
I'm doing a real patriotic rod now for a tackle shop, and it's going to get pretty cool.
Yeah,
He
cool.
does really good work, man. Really.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So does he.
I can't wait to see it all. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I knew I was going to get something out of you guys. Very cool. So
I could keep on going, but I
Yeah.
no.
Please do, please
basket
do.
weaving. I do basket weaving.
You do basket weaving
I haven't
too?
done it in a while, but yeah, I did basket weaving.
Yeah?
Paintings. I do paintings, drawings, pictures, photography, whatever.
you ever paint any fish?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't think so.
You should give some fish a shot.
Not like you, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been painting fish my whole life. So it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and time going to learning about the anatomy and the way the light hits a fish, and it takes. You can't just. What does it say? Nietzsche says, and before one must walk, one must crawl. One cannot crawl on the fly, kind of thing.
I think I've done all of that.
Yeah,
I've
so-
done, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably sat there and said help too.
yeah, definitely.
I'm drowning.
Yep, definitely.
yeah.
So, again, I want to reiterate, we are airing this on Veterans Day, but we're going to talk about the events that just happened in the previous week to us is tonight and tomorrow.
Okay.
So the dinner that is scheduled for tonight.
So it's going to be a little bit different this time. Normally, we would go up and present everybody and give them a gift bag and show them, who's your captain and that kind of stuff. But this time, we're going to do it a little bit more backwards. We're going to give them the gift bags. That way, they could, at least put their shirts on, and so we could get a nice picture of the whole group. And we give them gift bags from donors. We'll take them to a beautiful dinner. We'll assign boats and captains and crew. They're all released, and we show up tomorrow morning at 6:30. We'll show up.
Yes,
Yeah,
Is that the Naughty Dog?
at the Naughty Dog, yes, at Lighthouse Point, and that's when they realize, whoa, they don't really know what they're getting into until they get to the Naughty Dog, and they see all these boats. And
Christian and Coco do a great job of supporting the FFO.
They're amazing.
They're good friends of ours here at the studio. So
They're super amazing.
Yep.
We'll go out till about 1 or 2. Help me out here.
It's usually about 1 to 2, depending how it's abiding.
So we'll come in and everybody's wants to brag or take pictures of what they caught, and and we sit down and have a lunch. Sponsored by Naughty Dog, and then prizes go out to the winners. It's really fun. If you haven't been to one, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be there for sure.
Okay.
That's going to be a blast to see everybody and
believe it or not, the people that get the best ones are the ones that throw up, the smallest fish,
Yeah, those guys get the big award, the Hard Luck Awards.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
The longest traveled.
Yeah.
I won that at Montauk.
And that's when everybody, you can see it. You'll see it, man. Everybody's exchanging numbers. Everybody's emails, shaking, hugging, smiles everywhere. It's just an amazing.
And not only that, everybody's passing some good information.
That too.
Like what?
Yes. Other organizations that we trust.
Other organizations, and also stuff in the VA. When you don't have a handbook, so you have to find out through other vets, and we kind of help each other out.
So it's very much like a word of mouth.
Yes.
Kind of network.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of networking going on afterwards.
Wow.
Like I said at the beginning, nobody wants to talk to anybody, but after that day, it's like, hey, let's talk.
Yeah.
The icebreaker.
Yeah, the icebreaker.
I also want to say that I'm going to host an event we're having at the Coast Guard Air Base on Opelika.
Okay.
And
Tell us about that. Tell us all about that.
Okay,
I
usually go out there representing my company, showing what we do. I'm going to take half my table and put FFO out there. A lot of sponsors come out there. They invite all vets there. They have a big luncheon. It's a lot of fun. They got things for the kids to do.
That's awesome.
When is that?
That is be this Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
So it'll be past when this it's
All right. So, but you do it every year?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be doing it next year. This is the first time I'm going to incorporate I used to put pamphlets and stuff on there, but I'm going to put a flyer up, a banner and everything.
Okay. And we can put some stuff up on here on the screen right now about it.
Okay.
Some
That
ways
just
for people to
reminded me.
contact you.
I want to tell you what great work Ed did. I was there, but we just spent 2 days at the boat show, the Florida Fort Lauderdale boat show.
Yep, I was there too.
Okay, did you see us? We were raffling off a board that was donated to us.
So the way I do the boat show is I do it on Wednesday when it first opens up. I go in, I run around, I see everyone I need to see before it gets crowded and packed while everyone's still at work, and I'm out of there and I don't go back. That's usually how I go. But next year is going to be different because we're actually setting up for it.
Oh, wow.
So actually, maybe I just announced that for the first time. So I really have to do it now. Sorry, I cut you off.
No worries. Somebody donated a paddle board that's worth $5,000. It's a
$5,000 paddle board.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Who donated that? Can we say?
I don't know everybody, so I don't want to leave anybody out. I know Live was one of them.
Yeah, Live Water Sports or something like that.
And there was some
They
other
make great
individuals.
boards.
It was just phenomenal. Beautiful board. I mean, we were drooling over it. One of a kind. It had the FFO logo on it and everything. We raffled it off on Saturday. And the individual that got it, oh my God, he's amazing. He gave it back to us and
Come on.
Yeah. And he's like, this is a beautiful board. You don't want it? He's like, no, give it back and sell it or raffle it. Do whatever you got to do, auction it. And whatever you get, that money's yours. So he's just talk about giving back.
I love hearing
paying
that.
it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, super guy.
I think the company was 24/7 Dive.
Yeah, 24/7 divers.
Yeah.
Does the who donated it back?
Yes. Yes.
24/7 divers.
Yes, sir.
Well done.
They're amazing.
Well done, guys. That's outstanding.
But it was hot, man.
It was really hot.
Oh.
What, the hot dog, the event?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
hot?
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
no, it was hot. Yeah, it was definitely a warm
And
day.
he was hustling. Oh man, he could get people. He's a good salesperson.
Yeah.
We did well.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we
Where
did
we
well.
now? Were you guys were at the convention center?
No,
Or
we were
at
on
the
a
Beacon
dock.
Bar? You were all right. So I'm
Yeah.
surprised I didn't see you guys
I
there.
think
That's
they-
why I didn't even go to the convention center. I was at Bahia Mar the whole time.
I think they call it the $1 million street or avenue where all
That's
the
where I hang out all the time.
yeah, that's where we're dreaming. You look at the boats you wish you could have.
Yeah. I think the cheapest boat was $33 million. I don't know.
Is it over
I
near the
heard.
Super Yacht Pavilion? I think
Yeah.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't spend too much time over there. I usually go to the center console area and places where I belong.
So also the company that they let us have a spot there to auction off was Broward Design Center. Is that
Yes,
the name?
Oh, Broward Design Center.
Yes,
yeah, with
yes.
Sky.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
and
Sky.
Nikki. Yeah.
Oh, they
yeah.
were great.
Yeah,
They were
great.
amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They kept us dehydrated. They were really putting
Yeah.
their
Sky and
foot
Nikki are
forward.
good friends of ours.
They'd come by every so often. You guys okay? Well, we
That's
were under
awesome.
the sun, man. It was hot. But
Yeah, very cool.
They took care of us.
Yeah,
really,
good.
really good people.
It's nice when people get together and do that and pitch in. I mean, I can't.
Like I said, it takes a what's that old cliche?
Takes a village?
It takes a village.
Yeah,
man.
it
We can't
certainly
do it.
does.
We
I
can't do
mean,
it by ourselves.
And this is another reason why I wanted to bring you guys on today, just to kind of, promote the whole idea of, you see these organizations and, you go, oh, great, the organization is doing great. They're doing a great thing, and then they're really helping these guys out, and that's cool. But I can't express how essential it is, people like Sky and doing things like that
Right,
and donating either their time or giving back, or the people like the 24/7, how much those little moments matter. And we talked about putting little things into a bucket in a stressful way, but in a positive way, when you can put a bunch of little things into that bucket, that piles up too.
Yes.
And that really starts mattering, So whatever effort we do, we're more than happy to do it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to tout our horn any more than anybody else's that does any help. I think people should just naturally do this. It should be ingrained in our society that people do things like this. Everyone would benefit from it, whether it's promoting Freedom Fighter Outdoors, whether it's promoting for veterans, whether it's promoting for, like we do for fishing for muscular dystrophy, or other people that want to give back to their local church or their local temple or whatever the case may be. Just getting involved in your community and doing something.
Yeah, even companies, they can donate something.
Yeah.
Even stuff to put in the goodie bags. I did go to ICAST. I was passing a bunch of information, trying to get, sponsorship
Nice.
there. I don't know what's come through, but it was nice to talk to people because they're outgoing when they find out what it's for.
Yeah. Yeah. And the grassroots of it all.
Right.
It's very important too. So I always try to promote giving to more grassroots organizations. Think locally first and then expand, if you can. But if you take care of your own backyard first before you start taking care of the world. And I think that's, if people have more of that perspective as well, then the world itself will be a better place to be.
No,
for
exactly.
everybody.
Exactly.
You got to take care of your neighbor, man.
Yeah.
You got to.
No doubt about it.
Whether he's there or not.
Yeah.
And
That's the whole theory of Connected by Water. Is to look above and beyond. And we discussed this, before the show started a little bit. Originally, you guys are brought on because we're connected by water through the whole outdoors and the fishing aspect of it. You know what I mean? That's how, when you can make that initial connection, then the rest just flows. That's the whole theory of Connected by Water. The water comes together, and then everything just starts flowing together, and you're bonded. But water and being passionate or enthusiastic about the events that happen on the water, whether it be fishing or paddleboarding or surfing or whatever the case may be. Just enjoying South Florida, enjoying the lifestyle, enjoying rivers, lakes, and streams, and being on them. And, just that the bond that creates, it transcends religious belief. It transcends race. It transcends political beliefs. It goes beyond all that stuff, because when you're there in that moment, all that stuff goes away. And we talked about living in that moment and living in the present tense, and that is what it's all about when you're connected by water. That brings you into the now. right?
Yeah,
And makes you
exactly.
appreciate your life in that moment.
Exactly.
And that, when you can put your head in that space, then there's nothing else. Everything just washes away.
I'm gonna give you
know?
a stupid visual.
Please
do. The Titanic.
I love stupid visuals.
the Titanic. Remember?
Right, yep.
Remember
Yep.
DiCaprio,
King of the world.
that's it, man.
Yep.
That's what you feel when you're out there.
Yeah,
know?
that's actually not a stupid example. That's a very good example because you're talking about two people that come from two completely different worlds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And boom,
exactly.
it's a shame Jack had to sink to the bottom of the ocean, but I personally think there was a little bit more room on that door.
So did I.
I've always had a big problem with that. I'm like, come on, you both can get on that door. Anyway, I'd be trying to get on the door. Anyway, listen, guys, I hope you had fun today.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
had a great
did.
time.
It was a blast.
Yeah, I really, really, really.
I can't believe I was nervous.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
this, it's nothing to be nervous about. We're all just hanging out. You know what I mean? And we're just, we're gonna start eating some donuts now.
Yeah,
And,
I've been eyeing the boxes.
Yeah,
all the
right.
time.
So a shout out. I know you said you don't want to give a plug, but I'm going to give a plug because I want to give a plug to anyone that gets 50% off to veterans.
Yeah, I went locally and picked this up. I told them I was picking up for veterans, and they're like, "Here's 50% off."
Beautiful.
It was awesome.
Dunkin'
Donuts,
Donuts.
right around the corner.
Absolutely. It's a great company.
And thank you for what you do.
Yeah,
Really
thank
No,
you.
no need to
Thank
thank
you.
me.
Thank you.
No need to thank
No,
me.
This
I
is,
appreciate
remember
you
the little
saying that, but
bucket?
no need to thank.
This is
Yeah.
the bucket. You're
Yeah,
putting
you're
it
putting in
into
the bucket.
It's my pleasure. Listen, you guys did the hard part, not me. So it's really my honor to have you both here. I appreciate that. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
I always say, I'm an artist for the U.S. Mint now.
Oh wow!
So I don't
That's
know if you
awesome.
knew that or not.
No,
No, I didn't.
that's awesome.
So my father served in the Air Force during the Korean War, and I never served, right? And I always kind of had it in the back of my head, like, I kind of wish, but I ended up going to art school and I took kind of a different path. But now that I'm an artist for the U.S. Mint, not that it's the same level nearly as what you guys did or went through, in some weird way, I kind of feel like as an artist and being able to artistically represent for my nation and design the coins that are in your pockets.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no,
You
be
know what
proud
I
of
mean? I
that.
feel like that's
yeah.
maybe my way of serving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Be super proud.
You're
of that.
helping your
You're
country
awesome.
out.
So, I mean, that's, when and this just all just happened this past year. So this is a new experience. for me.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you
That's
very
awesome.
much. So, I really felt like, okay, I almost kind of got over a little bit of a hump in my life because there was always a little bit of a void because I really believe in, your service and everything that means to the country. And I mean, I don't need to go into the value of that because I think that's really self-explanatory. Because I'm sure a lot of people go into that. Oh yeah, but I think that's obvious. Yes, there's a huge value to what you guys have done and what you guys continue to do, what the guys that are currently serving do, what the guys that are involved in Freedom Fighter Outdoors do, and what the people that create the organization, like Sarah and Vinny, continue to do. And it's all about service, right?
Absolutely.
You serve your country, you serve your mankind. If you're religious, you serve God. And all these things are very popular, but positive things. And I think that's what we try to do on this show. Sometimes is exploit the positive community perspective on things like that. And I really just want to thank you guys for coming on. I am looking
thank you for having
forward
us.
to spending the next couple of days with you guys. I know this is the first time we're meeting, right? But
Yes.
I'm gonna hang out with you guys tonight. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, good.
I'm very honored to do so, and I look forward to it all.
Same here.
Same
Thank
here.
you.
Same,
So-
definitely.
We're gonna close it out, John. Yeah.
Yep.
We're good to go. All right. So this is what we say every time: your ego is not your amigo. All right, just do your best to let God do the rest. Always remember to eat, drink, and be local. And don't ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're always connected by water. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Tony
Thank you.
Peralta, Ed Bromeister. Did I say it right?
Braumeister.
Braumeister. I got it wrong again. Thank you guys for coming on, guys. We're
Thank
connected
you.
by water officially.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.